The atmosphere inside the stadium is absolutely terrific, deafening in fact, and Vinicius Junior is playing the drums on the side of the tunnel down below us as they wait to emerge onto the field of play. We've seen the substitutes come out and take their place inside the arena. Kevin De Bruyne has been out there already. He looks okay. I'm sure that he will be miffed as to why he is not starting. Carlo Ancelotti just coming down the final few stairs before you emerge onto the pitch. The dressing room's at the top of a corridor where you come down a big staircase out into a platform where you then emerge up from the ground and onto the playing surface. It's almost like you go on a bit of a roller coaster dipper before you come out into the vast arena, the refurbished Bernabeu, which is so very, very steep. If you sit like we do in the top tiers overlooking everybody, you can almost feel and smell what's going on the pitch. You're so close to the action. It's got the feeling of a big match. It looks like a big match. The tifos are out. The noise is out. The Champions League anthem is ringing around. There's a fantastic mosaic of the Real Madrid crest away to our left-hand side. And as the players emerge, there is the rumblings of anticipation surrounding those 22 main protagonists whose job tonight it is to try and steer their team closer to the semi-finals of this great competition. Real Madrid were at the height of the Galacticos game the last time they were eliminated at this stage of the Champions League. Raul, Zidane, Luis Figo, Roberto Carlos and David Beckham were all in the squad that lost to unfancied Monaco over two legs. But 20 years on, Guti, who was in that side, is just one of many suggesting that this Real Madrid team is even better than that. It certainly looks better than last year when Manchester City played with maturity in the Bernabeu and then with an uncontainable intensity back at the Etihad Stadium. Madrid are out for revenge. The game started early. Rudiger wants payback. The roof they wanted closed has been closed. And while City were running around at Villa and Selhurst Park, Madrid have had their feet up. City know that if they're retaining this gleaming trophy, then this is the first of several big hurdles that they will have to jump. Pep Guardiola promises to come here and strike, not sit. And he has some Galacticos of his own. Foden, 21 goals, starts tonight in the number 10 position in place of De Bruyne, who has only been back for 13 games but has assists coming out of his ears. And then there's the irresistible Rodri, and at the top of it all, 30-goal Erling Haaland. Madrid making two changes from their last outing 9 days ago. Lunin is their goalkeeper. Carvajal, Tchouaméni, Rudiger and Ferland Mendy are the back four. Valverde, Kroos and Camavinga in midfield with Bellingham at the tip of the diamond. Rodrigo will peel out to the right. Vinicius Junior to our left. The two managers shake hands, embrace down on the touchline ahead of another titanic battle. The two of them with Champions Leagues galore already on their own mantelpieces, 7 between them. It's quite remarkable really, isn't it? And the two captains for the night. Ruben Diaz of Manchester City goes up to the halfway line to exchange pleasantries and pendants with the captain of Real Madrid tonight, Dani Carvajal, who comes running over to meet his gaze ahead of this huge encounter. Our referee tonight and VAR all from France, and they go through the coin toss. Alex Letizia and his assistants before we get off and underway. Manchester City with Ortega in goal. They've got a Kanji at right back, Stones, Diaz and Carvajal the back four. Rodri and Kovacic in the centre of midfield with Bernardo Silva, Foden and Grealish behind Erling Haaland in attack. The bench for Manchester City tonight: Doku, De Bruyne, Alvarez, Gomez, Nunez, Bob, Sissoko and Rico Lewis. And tomorrow night we've got more Champions League action for you on Talksport 2. PSG against Barcelona is live on this station. Thursday night, Europa League action from Liverpool. I'll be there on Thursday night. And West Ham against Bayer Leverkusen is also on this network. Friday night, we are in the Championship. Leicester City, our focus. And Saturday, we're off to Newcastle United for their game against Tottenham Hotspur and Champions League chasing Spurs. Yes, that's right. All the action all the time on Talksport and Talksport 2. But before we go any further, a knockout tie between the two most recent champions of Europe in the white-hot atmosphere of the Bernabeu, and former City manager Stuart Pearce is alongside me. How important is it for the City defence, exposed at the weekend, to stay firmer for longer tonight?
Well, listen, they're up against a forward line that could rip holes in anyone in world football, so it's absolutely vital that they shut the door, keep things nice and quiet, certainly, and you know full well they've got the ability to score goals at the drop of a hat.
Norwich have taken 2-goal lead against Sheffield Wednesday as Vinicius Junior makes an early attack towards the edge of the penalty area away to our right-hand side. Real Madrid, as you would expect, all in white this evening. They've asked their fans to come the same way and sit in dark black with lightning flashes across their kit. And Tchouaméni has just gone in a little bit too heftily on Jack Grealish, who was threatening to escape, and a yellow card has come out for him, and he's going to miss the second leg.
Well, I've got to say, three players were surrounding Grealish there. Grealish running out of ideas, and Tchouaméni decided to absolutely clatter him for no reason at all. He's got to have a bit more about him than that and just jockey him. He's going nowhere, and he's out the second leg, and that will help City, that's for sure.
Well, they have got Eder Militao coming back from an ACL injury, but Aurélien Tchouaméni has been filling in as a centre-half partner for Rudiger recently, and that's his first act in the entire match. Less than a minute gone, he's picked up a yellow card, and he's going to miss the return at the Etihad in a week's time, live on Talksport. Free kick to be given to Manchester City then, and this free kick is about 8 yards outside the area, just a shade left of centre. Lunin trying to organise his defence, who look poised. Here Dani Carvajal having a few words with one or two in the wall before Grealish, with those very visible blonde highlights, whips the ball in right-footed into the penalty area. Might go left-footed here actually. It does look like one for a left footer, and it's in towards the near post, and it squirms under Andre Lunin for Bernardo Silva. 1 minute and 50 seconds on the clock. It's the perfect start for Manchester City. A free kick from 27 yards has silenced the Bernabeu, and Bernardo Silva has caught Lunin completely cold. And it's Manchester City, the European champions, who lead inside 2 minutes against Real Madrid by 1-0.
Well, this is why I said to you beforehand, Bernardo Silva's my favourite player in the Premier League. The intelligence of him. He stood there, the goalkeepers took a step to his left, expecting a floated cross in. He's gone round the blind side of a one-man wall in front of him, and the goalkeeper just could not get back in time, got a hand on it, ball's ended up in the net. Brilliant start for Manchester City.
Well, it looked like it favoured Bernardo Silva because of how he was approaching the ball. He was just to the right of it, which meant with his left foot, it was always going to favour him if he was going to hit it left-footed. Jack Grealish was off to the right-hand side, and I thought he's not really going to whip it in right-footed. So up came Bernardo Silva, and boy, did he strike it. He went round the outside of the wall, the goalkeeper's near post, he got caught cold. His feet were stuck to the ground and the ball was sticking to the back of the net.
I think the main thing is you go, and as you mentioned earlier, you're organised, you get your team, you've got your free kick takers. You can't coach that. A player has actually seen something on and seen the goalkeeper's position and thought, you know what, I can score from here, and he's done exactly that. So they've had one booked early on, a central defender for Madrid, and they've conceded. What a start for City.
Real Madrid nil, Manchester City 1, and there's already been a booking which rules Aurélien Tchouaméni out of the second leg, and any idea that Real Madrid hope of coming here and setting things right immediately from last year has been blown out of the water. They've got to come from behind at home. Carlo Ancelotti already looking pensive.
Yeah, he certainly is. Makes you wonder at half-time whether they're open the roof, Sam.
Well, they closed the roof in order to try and create an intoxicating atmosphere, but it didn't affect Manchester City. They conceded after 3 minutes of the weekend, but this time they've got in front after 2. They've got off to the most perfect of starts, and Carlo Ancelotti, who said he was nervous ahead of this game, he never really looks nervous, certainly was a little bit more tense than he usually is, and with good reason. Here's Bellingham, edge of the area, trying to respond for Real Madrid. The ball comes towards the right. Carvajal takes it, moves it infield. It's Camavinga who plays a square ball to Toni Kroos midway inside the Manchester City half of the field. It goes centrally into Camavinga again, and then Bellingham, lovely little turn beyond Guardiola, wanted a free kick, didn't get one, and Bellingham is furious about that.
I've got to say, for me, it was a free kick all day. He's took it brilliantly. It was a straight ball through the lines. He's took it on the back foot, on the half turn, and got away from his man. And for me, it's a free kick, but the referee knows best.
A little bit fortunate. Rodri's given the ball away rather cheaply, again in the centre circle, and then Kovacic has committed a foul, but Valverde has escaped, and he's run down the left side of the Manchester City half. He moves it into the box. It's a little bit too heavy towards Vinicius Junior, but Guardiola's clearance comes straight back off Vinicius Junior and goes over the top of the crossbar.
Well, I think even in these early stages, we've got a very open game on our hands. It was Grealish's run that drew the free kick for the goal, and on that occasion, Bellingham's movement. And Guardiola was fortunate there. He's cannoned the ball away, and he's cannoned it straight into Vinicius Junior. It could have gone anywhere.
That could have gone anywhere. And it went straight over the top of the crossbar fortuitously for Josko Gvardiol. They've gone long up towards Erling Haaland, who's started that battle with Rudiger. Rudiger comes off better this time. They want a foul for Bernardo Silva, who's gone down over on the far side. The referee has allowed play on. It's picked up and played into Josko Gvardiol once again, who's joined the attack. Slipped it into Haaland. Haaland with a chance to turn and fires it into the near post, saved by Lunin. Comes back to Grealish inside the box. Haaland's got it. Back to Grealish again. His strike comes back to Haaland once more, and it's scrambled away eventually by Rudiger through the middle of the pitch and up towards the halfway line. And then Rodrigo is trying to get the ball through to Vinicius Junior, who looked to escape on the halfway line. He thought he was brought down. The referee said no.
I'll tell you, the referee's booked a player in the first minute of the game. Since then, he's let everything go, and there's been some choice challenges, I think, in the game so far. But credit to him, he let it go, and I think it was Diaz then who was very, very fortunate that he slipped, didn't let Madrid in behind the back line.
Sure, what a start to the game.
It's been brilliant, breathless. But then again, we've got two brilliant teams, coached brilliantly, and we're the fortunate ones.
Here's Rodri for Manchester City with luminous pink numbers and blue flashes of lightning through the middle of their dark purple, or is it black, strip. Attacking the goal away to our left. Akanji's playing right back after a good display at left back at the weekend when coming on as a half-time substitute. Slides it through the middle to Stones. Stones tries to feed the ball out to Bernardo Silva. It's a little bit too hefty, and Pep Guardiola, who's applauding his team's efforts, he's just getting in the way of the linesman down in front of us. Well, the temperature was warm in Madrid today, a bit of wind, but it is in stark contrast to those of us who left Manchester this morning in the torrential rain. Just getting from the house to the taxi was dicing with death. It was
that's Manchester.
It was ridiculous, and I'm sure that those supporters who have followed Manchester City from their hometown will be delighted with the weather that greeted them in Madrid today. Ball out towards the far side. Madrid have it. It's swung out to Ferland Mendy, back to Rudiger, and then all the way to Lunin, who strikes it, fades the ball out towards the near touchline, and it's picked up by Carvajal and then cleared. It's a poor clearance by Tchouaméni, who started the game badly. He sent it straight into midfield, and it returned towards Jack Grealish, and then got caught in a tangle with him. And he has to be a little bit careful, I think.
Yeah, he certainly does. As I say, getting booked that early in the game is an absolute killer for any defender. I can vouch for that, that's for sure.
What about that scramble? Haaland's effort into the near post, pushed away by Lunin, who then got up and managed to recover the ball. There were 2 or 3 opportunities in that passage of play that Madrid just didn't take charge of. That was really scrappy defensively.
Yeah, and the more I watch Champions League football over the last 2 or 3 years, the more open these games are, which is absolutely brilliant. You know, long are the days gone where it's a cagey game. Teams just go after each other and they try to win the game by scoring more than the opposition.
Ball played in by Stones into the centre via Rodri, and then Kovacic out to the left. It's now with Grealish. Grealish on the left-hand side, moving up the pitch at will for Manchester City. He's on the attack, then turns and fires it back into the centre of midfield. Stones has drifted in there from centre back, and then turns it back into Josko Gvardiol, who's narrowed off as a result of Stones emerging as an extra body in midfield into the centre circle. The ball is with the captain, Ruben Diaz, then back out to Akanji. Stones goes to receive it, looks up, Foden wants it. He has to turn away from Camavinga, Stones, and then gets it back to Akanji, who takes it to the perimeter of the playing surface out on the right-hand side. And City just doing their best to keep hold of the ball here, and they've done that successfully. 1-0 they lead thanks to Bernardo Silva's free kick, which outwitted the goalkeeper inside the first 1 minute and 50 seconds. Live on Talksport 2 tonight with Village Hotels. Visit villagehotels.com. Ball out wide on the left-hand side, and then over to the right, and Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva cuts in from that right towards the angle of the penalty area, and then Foden receives it from Akanji, and he thought he was going to get a foul, but Valverde and Kroos pinched it legally, and Vinicius is threatening to get away down that far side before Stones comes across, mops up, and Ortega has it again. It's the kind of start that Pep Guardiola would have dreamt about last night.
Well, it's the perfect start, especially when you know City's playing style. They've got their nose in front. They're a brilliant possession-based team. They can kill the atmosphere here in Madrid and just keep possession of the ball. What they can't do is give the ball away cheaply like they've just done.
It's Rodri again.
Yeah, as I say, which is very unlike him.
Inside his own half, rather casually, sort of firing it out towards the near side, and it was picked off by Madrid's shirt, and they have possession inside their own half. 1-0 to Manchester City. Real Madrid, who took the lead in the stadium last year. City hit back to claim a draw before winning convincingly 4-0 in the Etihad. Certainly that was the thing that Madrid were trying to use in the build-up to this game to motivate themselves, but the concession of that early goal has just stunned the whole place and killed the atmosphere a little bit. Here is Valverde, right side, floating the ball over elegantly from the right side of the centre circle to the left, and is taken on by Rodrigo, who powers forward, gives it to Valverde, back out towards the left it'll go. Kroos keeps it moving, Ferland Mendy, then into Jude Bellingham, who just drops off a little bit. Back to Kroos out towards this near side, and then Camavinga will take it down. Here he plays it into Kroos once again, and then it goes on the outside towards Carvajal, and Carvajal looks to try and build. Arsenal have taken the lead in the game against Bayern Munich as they come forward here, and it's smacked in from the edge of the box by Camavinga. Deflected effort, outwits Ortega, and it's 1-1. 12 minutes gone. It came from nowhere, really. A throw-in on the right-hand side. It fell to Camavinga. It was a speculative effort. It was going nowhere near Ortega's near post. And then the deflection wrong-footed the goalkeeper and snuck in the other corner.
Well, we've got an emotional roller coaster for both managers here, and it was a massive deflection off of Diaz. The goalkeeper's got it well and truly covered. It skimmed off probably thigh area, best thigh stroke hip, wrong-footed the goalkeeper, and it's all square.
Well, I mean, that is a huge deflection. I don't even think that was going on target from Camavinga. It might have been going wide of the upright. It took a big deflection off the outside of his thigh, and it went in the other side.
Well, that sums it up rather nicely from a game where probably City had been a bit loose with their possession, where you expect them, OK, you're 1-0 up, you're away from home, just keep the ball, no need to go anywhere. No panic. They just give the ball away on the odd occasion, which has been costly, I think.
It was so blatantly going nowhere that immediately UEFA, and sometimes they take a little bit of time to award the goals to the right people, but immediately they flashed it up as an own goal for Diaz because it had such a significant impact on what was happening. That ball had absolutely no right to beat Ortega initially, but that flick has taken it past him. It's 1-1 after 14 minutes. Here's Grealish at the other end, steering the ball into the penalty area. Across comes the goalkeeper, grabs it from the sky, and then it's bowled out into midfield. And now that's a great ball forward, long ball down the left. Rodrigo is chasing Vinicius Junior's pass, and it's Rodrigo through the legs of the goalkeeper. He's completely missed it, and they're in front. They've turned it around in 60 seconds. Madrid are in the lead, and the newly installed roof of the Bernabeu has just flown off. What on earth was Ortega doing? A brilliant ball down the left by Vinicius Junior. Rodrigo raced away. He got to the edge of the box, weaved his way past the defender, and just nudged it delicately through the legs of Ortega, and it's 2-1.
Well, I said it's an evening for calm heads, and emotionally it's going to be incredible for both managers. Absolutely incredible. What a wonderful ball inside Akanji, and Rodrigo drove with it. I thought, well, just looking at the replay there, I thought Akanji had got back. They dealt with a danger. There was a deflection, I think, off of Akanji that's wrong-footed Ortega, and once again another deflection, I believe. Yes, another deflection has put pay to Manchester City.
Is there nothing that Ortega could do about that? Does it outwit him at the last moment, or should he have been a little bit more cautious, bearing in mind that Akanji was in front of him, and not come out and try so desperately to narrow the angle?
Well, I would say you've got to look at Akanji getting done by the bisected pass inside him to start with, and then when you get back goal side, you've got to defend the player. You really have. I don't think there's any blame on the goalkeeper, Sam.
Here is Foden inside the penalty area, trying to receive a Bernardo Silva pass. It bobbles twice and then goes into the arms of Lunin away to our left-hand side. We have played 16 minutes. It's Real Madrid 2, Manchester City 1. This game's going to be about 7-8.
Well, we thought it would be a brilliant game. We thought it might be open. We talked about two holding midfield players for Manchester City. Will it be KG? They get their nose in front, and all of a sudden this game is just incredible. And I've got to say, Madrid have had the rub of the green with the two deflections.
Well, it was a deflected goal, but it was definitely a better crafted goal than the first one. A lovely ball down the left-hand side from Vinicius Jr. It was a real peach of a ball inside Akanji, and he raced away from Akanji, who then slowed up Rodrigo. Akanji was able to twist back in front of him, and then he just put it through his legs in off the inside of his left leg. It just wrong-footed Ortega, and it trickled, didn't it, almost agonisingly into the far corner.
I mean, I thought when Rodrigo burst clear, what he was aiming to do was get across the face of Akanji, get into the box and hope to be brought down. That was his best option. I think that was going through his mind. He managed to sort of, Akanji got back goal side and then got the good fortune of this slight deflection at close quarters that just wrong-footed Ortega.
What a start to the game. Real Madrid in front after being behind inside a minute and 50 seconds. And Manchester City, once again, defensively, all at sea. They haven't kept a clean sheet.
No, and at this stage and this magnitude of the European competition, when you're playing against the strikers and the forwards you have, you've got to go to places and keep clean sheets. There is no doubt about that. But City have got to regain their composure now.
Again, this time Fernand Mendy was coming out of defence with the ball, but Vinicius Jr. had been a little bit lazy, hadn't tracked back properly, then decided to accelerate to get back on side, by which time Mendy wanted to play the ball. He did that, and he was slightly wrong-footed, and he had to turn and go back again. 18 minutes gone here, 18 minutes gone in North London. Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 1. Serge Gnabry, the former Arsenal player, has scored for Thomas Tuchel's team. And Arsenal have conceded at home. They don't concede too many goals, do they, Arsenal? But they have conceded one here. A big long ball over the top, and a bit of a mishap involving goalkeeper and central defender Gabriel. And in the end, the ball was given away, and Gnabry took full advantage eventually. And boy, did they finish it off well, Bayern Munich, after what can only be down as a defensive howler from Arsenal. Here is Stones inside the area, down the right-hand side, gets to the byline, pulls it into the box, and before he can get it through to a teammate, it goes into the arms of Lunin. I think he might have strayed out of play there, John Stones, and it's going to be a free kick to goal kick, to Real Madrid, the home team. So bright starts in both our Champions League offerings tonight. Talksport have got the full coverage of Arsenal against Bayern Munich. We're bringing you the full coverage in the Bernabeu as Valverde steams forward down this right-hand side, works it onto his left foot, unleashed a shot, which is caught easily this time by the goalkeeper, who takes one step to his right. No deflections for Ortega to worry about, and he handles it well.
Well, defence is on top all over the Champions League fixtures tonight by the looks of things, you know. We've got goals galore, and I don't think this will be the end of it in Madrid at the moment.
Real Madrid 2, Manchester City 1, Talksport 2 on a Tuesday night. Champions League action galore, goals galore at this moment in time. And they're also giving you updates from around the grounds in the Championship and elsewhere tonight. England's women are leading 2-0 away at Ireland. In the European Championship qualifiers, Norwich 2-0 up against Sheffield Wednesday in the Championship. Southampton 1-0 up against Coventry, less than 0-0 with Millwall at this moment in time. Stockport, the leaders in League 2, at 1-0 up at Colchester. Leeds 0-0 with Sunderland, and any more details that we can furnish you with throughout the course of the evening, we will try to do so here on Talksport 2. It's a big night in the EFL as well. That title race in the EFL almost as compelling as the one in the Premier League. Champions League football for you is our concentration, though, and Ruben Diaz has it on the edge of the 18-yard box. He twists and turns away from Bellingham and then gives it away rather cheaply, and that's been Manchester City's problem, I think, in the early stages of the game, just not quite keeping hold of possession as tightly as you would expect them to do.
Well, as soon as you take the lead, certainly so early on, the game was absolutely set up for Manchester City to dominate possession, slow the game down and kill any momentum that Madrid have got, but they just have not done that, not been able to do it, albeit there's been a bit of good fortune with the 2 deflections, but it's been an incredible start to the game.
Diaz for Manchester City, 6 or 7 yards in front of his own 18-yard box, with the attempt now just to try and slow it down a little bit. They trail Manchester City by 2-1. 2 goals that Madrid scored in 90 seconds after City had taken the lead after a minute and 50 here in the Bernabeu. Kovacic has it centre field, lays it off towards John Stones. Stones just tries to nudge it far side where Grealish is waiting for it. He accelerates, slows down, pokes it back to the right angle of the penalty area. A little Cruyff turn by Josko Vardiol as he joins the attack as Manchester City come forward here. Bellingham slides in, misses the attempted pass from the Croat, and Stones will continue to move City up the pitch. Diaz just a little bit further wide to Akanji, now on to Bernardo Silva. Infield it goes, Foden back right, Akanji once again. Now into Rodri, who's given the ball away far too often. Floats the ball out to the near side, taken down by Grealish, and then it goes infield to Josko Vardiol. Back into Stones, back to Kovacic again. Stones a little bit loose with his pass. Camavinga sweeps up, moves up towards the halfway line, and then releases Rodrigo. Rodrigo bounds away from Ruben Diaz, gets into a right wing position. Vinicius Junior wants the ball played to him on the edge of the box, but across comes Rodri this time and does his job superbly, shuts down any movement infield, and the ball goes out for a throw on this near side. 2-0, 2-1 to Real Madrid, live on Talksport 2.
What Madrid have done very well in this game, Sam, certainly for the second goal, and we saw a hint of it just then. As soon as they turn that ball over in central midfield play, Rodrigo and Vinicius Junior set sail with real pace in behind the back line, and City have got to watch out for that, especially when they're spread to play.
Rodri been dispossessed on halfway again, and Vinicius Junior now is escaping down the left side. Bernardo Silva said, yeah, you know what, I fancy my chances of pinching this, and went and did exactly that.
Well, he done exactly what you want as a fullback, the man who plays in front of you, to do. Go and commit yourself and put the player under pressure. Don't jockey him, that's my job to do that. I'm the last line. Go and have a nibble at the ball. And he'd done more than that, he actually took it off him.
Southampton 2, Coventry 0. Another goal for Southampton, who are accelerating their progress in the Championship. Maybe an automatic promotion place will be beyond them, but certainly they are in half-decent form and have been for most of the season. Here is Grealish down the left-hand side, moving up towards Carvajal's backpedaling in the right full-back position for Madrid. He tries to centre it, but Cruz picks it off. And then between Rodrigo and Kroos, they work their way out of a defensive position. There's a slight mishap there for Rodrigo. He's given the ball away to Vardiol, and he will take a throw-in from deep inside Madrid territory.
Yeah, Rodrigo too intent on trying to buy a free kick rather than dealing with the ball.
Here's Rodri. He's got Kovacic to his left and Foden deeper. He plays it wide to Bernardo Silva, who scored Manchester City's opening goal. And then it goes back to Captain Diaz. And then all the way out towards Akanji far side. Diaz on halfway. Almost circling the white line of the centre circle before giving it to Foden and then receiving it from Akanji. Back into Bernardo Silva, then Rodri, who strides forward, finds Kovacic, who used to play here. He's dispossessed, and Camavinga has turned it over and then poked it into Dani Carvajal, who tried a Hollywood ball in towards Jude Bellingham, but was denied by one of the 3 Manchester City shirts that was between him and the England man.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think any defeat for Manchester City coming away from here is a bad result in regard to the second leg, or do you think they've got enough in their locker to turn the result round?
I think as long as they're not trailing by 3 goals, they'll be confident they can turn it around at home.
I just think that might play into Madrid's hands on the counter-attack. We've seen a few bits and pieces counter-attack, the second goal especially.
Well, I suppose if you're looking at it from an analytical point of view, the high line that beat them at the weekend saw them concede to Jean-Philippe Mateta, and he's not exactly the world's biggest speedster. The fact they've conceded a similar sort of goal from the other side today suggests that that is a vulnerability for them.
Yeah, and you would say that potentially Madrid have got the certainly ability to go away from home and get a goal. That is for sure. So all of a sudden a 1-goal lead at home might also mean a 2-goal if we think that Madrid can score on the road.
Well, it's exciting.
It certainly is.
And it is finally poised. Real Madrid 2, Manchester City 1, live on Talksport 2 tonight. And City have had a lot more of the ball than Madrid, but it's Madrid who lead. Vinicius Junior getting it from Camavinga and then trying to shoot from 25 yards out, but he got too much air on it and it goes high and over the top and out for a goal kick away to our right hand side. Jude Bellingham just trying to calm things down. Not scored for Madrid since February, Jude Bellingham, but he has bagged for England since. 22 goals and 37 appearances so far this season for club and country. Pretty impressive. Pep Guardiola with a bit of control on the near touchline. And certainly not as efficient as they were last season. There's no doubt that their chink in their armour is this ability to keep going behind. 13 times in the Premier League they've gone behind alone this season. And although they've recovered 24 points from losing positions, they have looked a little bit fragile defensively. A defence that has been exposed twice already tonight. Huddersfield lead Preston by a goal to nil towards the bottom of the Championship as Guardiola sends it down the left touchline, looking for Haaland, who's holding off Tchouaméni, who's already been booked and will miss the second leg. The ball goes out of play on this near side. It's a Madrid throw.
Yeah, and just Haaland there with a rueful smile on his face as he lost possession in and around the halfway line, and it'll be critical that he finds a little bit of form for certainly the running of the rest of the season in all competitions.
That suggests that you don't think he has been in great form?
No, I don't. I think he's wanting a little bit, and that happens with strikers. It happens with footballers. They're not machines, and form comes and goes when you least expect it.
Carvajal, Bellingham centres the ball through the centre circle to Ferland Mendy, who just has to check back and get it over the halfway line to Rodrigo, peels away to the left touchline. It comes to Bellingham, then Vinicius Junior. They're very lopsided on that left-hand side, Real Madrid. Rodrigo likes to go over there. Vinicius always goes over there. Even Bellingham sort of gravitates to that zone. Valverde on the right side now as they look to change the angle of the attack. They're midway inside the Manchester City half of the pitch. They go back to Tchouaméni and then on to Rudiger and then Kroos. Forward to Ferland Mendy. Wants to try and get it round the corner for Rodrigo to attack, but he's shut down by the Manchester City defence. Shuffled over by Foden and Akanji, and they have to go out the other side. Carvajal, Camavinga, a little bit casual from Carvajal. Doesn't quite reach Camavinga, and then he's aggressively trying to win the ball back from Kovacic and giving away a free kick on the halfway line. Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 1 on Talksport, and here on Talksport 2, Real Madrid lead Manchester City by 2-1.
Yeah, Carvajal there, I think he knew it was more of a cynical foul than he probably let on there. I think he saw a semi-counter-attack effort happening.
No yellow card for breaking up a promising attack.
No, I think he was quite discreet in how he done it, and that's what probably got him away with it. And I think the referee, after that first booking in the first minute, he's just let a lot go, and I'm pleased that is the case, because the spectacle is so much better for it.
Was it such a bad challenge that he had to produce a yellow card in that first instant?
I believe so, yeah, it was really a bad, and it cost them more than just a booking. The ball ended up in the back of their net, and since then City haven't really threatened Madrid's goal.
big problems for Arsenal in their game at the Emirates. They can see the penalty. Saliba getting called out by a darting run into the box by Leroy Sané, and a penalty has been given against them. Here on Talksport 2, it's Real Madrid 2, Manchester City 1. The latest scoreline in the Bernabeu. Jude Bellingham wanting to get things moving once again. Drops deep, receives a pass off Toni Kroos as we get back underway. Into Tchouameni and across to Carvajal, the right back, who thrusts it against the knees of Jack Grealish. It goes out of play and away for a throw-in. Away to our left-hand side. And the captain Carvajal, looking for an outlet in front of him, decides to go backwards rather than forwards. Ancelotti said that they didn't play with enough courage or personality in the game in Manchester last year. They must do that twice to stop Manchester City from heading to the semi-final again. They do have a few differences to them this year. They have an out-and-out left-back in Ferland Mendy, who wasn't available for them last campaign. And they have Jude Bellingham, of course. Here is Carvajal, on to Rodrigo, attacking from the left-hand side. Comes in on his right foot, shoots down the throat of the goalkeeper, who makes a save. But it was a good Real Madrid attack, and it started with a crossfield run from right to left from Dani Carvajal, which meant that his marker, who was supposed to be tracking him, lost him, and that gave the opportunity for Rodrigo then to go on the outside and produce a shot which Ortega had to save. At the other end, very quickly, Manchester City looking to attack with Bernardo Silva, and then he's shut out by Rodrigo, and it goes to the far side.
Yeah, City have just got to settle into this game, and you just get the impression that Pep will want to get his team in the dressing room with the scoreline as is, or City on parity, and just settle the ship down a little bit. I think from that euphoric start after a minute or so, it's been a bit tough for City.
Harry Kane has scored the penalty against David Raya, and Bayern Munich have come from behind to lead, just as Real Madrid have come from behind to lead. The two English sides, who started well enough, but have both been pegged back. Here is Bernardo Silva on the far side for Manchester City, looking to attack. Away to our left, a clip ball over the top of Bellingham by Rodri, reaches Vardiol, and then he sells Diaz short, and that goes back to Ortega, and then he finds Gvardiol, who loses his footing on this near side. It was a little bit scrappy from Manchester City in terms of keeping possession. Foden has a little bit of poise to the occasion and slaloms his way through the centre circle. He moves up and faces up Camavinga, plays it left, and then out it goes towards the near touchline, and Jack Grealish towards the edge of the area, cuts it back to Rodri twists away from Camavinga, gets the return into Grealish with a chance to draw the ball towards the near corner. It's blocked by Tchouameni, a brilliant block by him, and it was a real opportunity that for Manchester City to go in front. The counter-attack is on though. Vinicius Junior with a lovely little drag back into the path of Rodrigo, and now Vinicius Junior has gone for the return. He isolates the defender Ruben Diaz, then sets the ball back to Rodrigo, who strikes it, and it's narrowly wide of the top corner, over the top of the crossbar, and out for a goal kick, and relief for all of the Manchester City fans that are watching and listening inside the stadium and out. This was a golden chance for Rodrigo to strike it, and he just cut across the ball, and it meant that it flew away when it should have been flying into the top corner, Stuart Pearce.
Well, I've got to say, the game swept from one end to the other. Manchester City, a really good move. The move ended up blocked, and as I mentioned to you earlier, they don't take a backward step, Real Madrid, going forward, and good runners in behind, and when he's hit it, I felt that was going to nestle in the roof of the net. Fortunately for City, it didn't.
Well, do you know what? I think we are in a very fortunate period in the development of top-level football. We've had a whole season where 4-3s, 3-2s, 4-4s have become the norm. Thriller-minute rides have been almost weekly, and the Champions League has been no different. And there was a moment there where Bellingham could have escaped after a loose ball from the City defence. He didn't. Diaz went steaming into him, has brought him down on halfway. The referee has said, play on, please continue. Camavinga's won it back, and they look to counter-attack once more, and they've got Vinicius Junior going down the left. Bellingham still down. Ruben Diaz cuts across in front of Vinicius Junior, who rather agriculturally pushes him in the back. It's going to be a free kick.
Well, once again, City guilty of giving the ball away in a bad area, and Bellingham, if he toes it past Diaz, he's in on goal. Diaz knows he's got to take everything. And he literally, credit to him, he did. He made a fair challenge, but he made sure the player copped for a bit of it as well, just in case as a backup plan. And this game, we've seen it many times with Manchester City, that they are vulnerable to balls in behind their back line. And tonight is showing that vulnerability again. When Rodrigo or alternatively Vinicius Jr. have an opportunity to play the ball in behind or run in behind, they do that and they play it and they encourage each other to go behind. It's causing a problem.
Well, Jude Bellingham complaining that he felt he was fouled by Ruben Diaz. I think we've seen several replays of it, and although I didn't get a notification saying VAR were looking at it, and the referee stopped the game in order to suggest that they might have done.
It was a super tackle, Sam.
Yeah,
it was a super tackle.
He timed it really well, actually, and he had to time it with exact precision, didn't he?
Yeah. There was an element of force on it, but listen, when you're the last man, you've got to win the ball at all costs, and he done exactly that.
Grealish has it 10 minutes before half-time on Talksport 2. A thrilling first 35 minutes so far, with Real Madrid leading by 2-1. Here is Diaz on halfway, pushed to the floor by Bellingham, and Bellingham, who I think is still a little bit upset about the attention that came his way.
Yeah, a little bit of niggle. He's got that in him, Bellingham, but he's avoided a booking. That is a booking, to be fair. I don't know what he's thinking about. I really don't. In a game of this magnitude,
he has got it in his locker, and you mentioned it just there. That's something that he's got to curtail if he's going to be England's fulcrum in the European Championships, because the last thing we want is another one of those situations where the talismanic figure, the one that ends up being the poster boy, ends up being the one who gets the red card in the crucial moment, the Wayne Rooney, the David Beckham.
Well, listen, I was never ever of a standard of Bellingham, but you knew full well that if you've got it in you to make challenges that might cost the team, you have to change the way you play, certainly in the high-profile games, certainly when you play for your country.
Well, he's won the ball back here brilliantly, and he's fed Vinicius Jr., who's surrounded by 4 Manchester City jerseys, and then Akanji has brought him down, and he's won a free kick, and it's a yellow card for Akanji. I'm not entirely sure that's as much of a yellow card challenge as some of the others that we have seen.
No, what he's done is booked Akanji for a multitude of challenges that went unbooked for both teams, so he's copped for it, basically.
I'm not saying there's hardly any contact, but it is the softest of all of the fouls that we have seen in the last 20 minutes of the game.
Yeah, in referee speak, it's saying I can't let anything go anymore, and sadly, when the music stopped, you get the yellow card.
You were still moving. Yes, it was a yellow card for Akanji. He's not one of those that will be suspended for the second leg. That in Manchester City circles only is Ruben Diaz. Here is Tchouaméni, who's going to miss that game. Rudiger, who tucks it back from the middle of his own half to Toni Kroos, and then all the way to Andre Lunin. I think we'll be disappointed with the goal that he conceded. Ball headed forward by Carvajal. Diaz is in a chase with Jude Bellingham. The ball runs all the way through to Ortega, and Ortega will nudge it into the path of John Stones. Stones back to Ortega, out to Diaz. The press is on from Real Madrid. Valverde, almost half-heartedly though, didn't go towards Ruben Diaz. And if you're going to do it, you've got to do it all at the same time. Otherwise it isn't going to work. And Rodri has dropped deep to pick it up and flight it out towards the far side of Akanji. Rodrigo is tussling with Akanji, just sort of waves him away and claims of contact there. The referee said no real foul, and Manchester City play on. They move up the pitch through the centre circle into the centre back from Guardiola to Rodri. He's got moves into the Real Madrid half here. He nudges it to Bernardo, then to Foden, who whips one into the far corner, and he almost caught out Lunin, and it goes behind and away for a goal kick. Rodrigo's stayed down, by the way. I'm not entirely sure that he is as injured as he is making out.
No, I totally agree with you, Kanji. Obviously it was the individual, and it was a flailing hand, but nothing really to put. He's run into his sort of forearm, if you like, in a challenge, in a tussle. But listen, you've got to be a bit more genuine than that.
Yes, he crumpled like a packet of crisps, didn't he?
He certainly did.
Paris Saint-Germain against Barcelona is on Talksport 2 tomorrow. Thursday night, Liverpool and West Ham United in action in the Europa League, and they're both live on Talksport and Talksport 2. Friday night championship action involving Leicester on Talksport 2. Saturday, Stuart and I will be at Newcastle United for the visit of Tottenham Hotspur. I have a feeling that might be uncontrolled thriller-minute drama.
There's a goal fest waiting for us up at the Toon, I'm sure, Sam.
It seems to be everywhere you go these days. Rodrigo has gone off to the far side to receive a little bit of medical treatment. Real Madrid, who are 8 points clear at the top of La Liga, eyeing up a mind-boggling 15th Champions League title. Carlo Ancelotti eyeing up his own personal milestone as well. He's looking for 5, which is pretty impressive.
More than pretty impressive.
Pep Guardiola looking for his 4th, which itself is pretty remarkable. Real Madrid 2, Manchester City 1. He's off the pitch, Rodrigo, and he'll have to stay there for 30 seconds before he can come back on. It's a goal kick to Real Madrid, the home team, away to our left. The Madridistas away to our left-hand side, all wearing white tonight, as they have been encouraged to do. There's quite a lot of white shirts inside the stadium, as Haaland tries to flick it on after Kovacic had returned the goal kick back towards whence it came. But Lunin has got it at his feet once more. I mean, it's a little bit of a lull in the storm that has been this Champions League quarter-final first leg, first half.
Yeah, I think at half-time Pep's got to look at this game and say, look, am I happy with the way things are going? I don't think his team are playing particularly well. Or do I make the change that might potentially chase the game and get them back in? But that is the gamble. And that, when I say that, you're talking De Bruyne and Alvarez potentially.
Camavinga trying to squeeze the ball through a tight gap. Bellingham goes down, wants a free kick. It's not forthcoming. Poked forward by Gvardiol to the far side. It's won by Bernardo Silva. Akanji takes it backwards to the halfway line, and then Bernardo Silva's dispossessed here, poked by Cruz, onto Rodrigo, then onto Vinicius Junior, who rapidly escapes into the penalty area, right-footed shot, saved down low by Ortega.
Well, Ortega's done really well there. His shape's really good. You could see when Vinicius Junior bursts into the box, he's looking to open the goal up, but he just couldn't fade it into that far corner enough.
Real Madrid 2, Manchester City 1 on Talksport 2, and Real Madrid, who were on the back foot from the moment they conceded their first goal from that free kick from Bernardo Silva, catching Lunin cold, but sprung back into life with 2 goals in 2 minutes in order to take the lead in the encounter. They were in front at this juncture last year, and then all hell broke loose when they got back to Manchester.
I'll tell you what I've been impressed with Madrid with. Whenever the ball's been turned over, they've gone for the Manchester City's goal at breakneck speed, haven't they? Not in big numbers. You know, if you watch Liverpool play, sometimes they go in 4s and 5s, but they've gone in 2s and 3s, but they've really gone with aggressive pace and aggressive running.
Yeah, they've been direct and sharp and on the front foot as soon as they've won the ball, wherever that may be. If they picked it up at 20 yards from goal or 40 yards from goal, they've very quickly turned whatever possession they've won into an attack and got a shot off more often than not. And they've had quite a few shots already, 7 attempts so far, 4 of those have been on target. Here's Toni Kroos turning the ball over in the centre circle. Vinicius Junior with a weak pass, trying to feed Bellingham, but he didn't have the strength to get the ball into the Englishman, and it goes back to Ortega.
Yeah, I think he got caught in 2 minds, whether Bellingham coming back from pressing the goalkeeper was in an offside position, got in 2 minds, and the pass, as you say, too weak to find its target.
Right back is Akanji. He has the ball now over on the far side. Back to Ortega it goes. He will kick clear from the 6-yard box out towards the right. Bernardo Silva has it, then Stones does, approaching halfway. He travels forward, releases the ball left, where Gvardiol canters over the halfway line, feeds Grealish. Grealish stands up Valverde, goes out on the left where once again Guardiola tries to escape away from Carvajal. Picked up by Rodri. There's a little bit of room to run into for him. He's thought about the shot a couple of times, but dawdled on it and has it pinched by Toni Kroos. And Real Madrid have got it back again. And Rodrigo going down the left-hand side, tries to play it against Akanji. The throw-in goes against him. He's furious. And a minute before half-time, it's a Manchester City ball.
I've got to say, you've picked up Rodri there for delaying on the ball and giving possession away, but I felt a little bit sorry for him there. There was no movement in advance of him from the front four. And you've got to have movement. No one there said, give me the ball, I've freed myself up from space. And that's why he got caught on the ball.
That's what happens if you haven't got an option. I just felt that he sort of was thinking about the shot, but maybe he was looking for the pass, and that was the problem. He didn't have anybody to give the ball to. He has managed to find that pass now. Kovacic has then tried to go away from Valverde, goes down rather cheaply, and the Madrid fans didn't like that. Kanji heads the ball into the air, brought down by Stones. No handball, despite the fact that it looked like his hands were in the proximity of the football. 3 minutes of added time at the end of the first 45. Live on Talksport. And Madrid lead by 2-1. Here is Grealish down this near touchline, looking to try and take on Carvajal. Cuts in on his right foot, stops the ball, runs up against Carvajal again, turns it round the corner, plays it into Rodri, deep to the far post. Haaland hitching a ride, managed to get a header down, but he did jump on the back of Ferland Mendy, and it is going to be a free kick.
Yeah, Haaland rose magnificently well there at the far post, just adjudged. There's a handball from John Stones, I believe, in the build-up.
Can't be handball if you head it onto your own hand. Oh. If you play the ball onto your own arm, or it can't be handball.
Well, to be fair, he guided the ball onto his own hand. I think clever players will actually, if that is the laws of the game, they'll work round it, Sam. So don't tell them they can't nestle it down onto their hand and then put the ball where they want.
This came into sharp focus recently in a Premier League game where Sander Berge at West Ham United headed the ball onto his own arm in his own penalty area, and David Moyes was furious about it.
Yeah, I think if you head the ball onto your own arm, it can be accidental, but on what we've just seen there from John Stones, it almost looks as though he guided it onto his hand.
Vinicius Junior sends a cross from the right side towards the edge of the box. It took a little bounce, was threatening to go out for a corner after a deflection. Deflections haven't been kind to City tonight, but this one just took the pace off the ball, and Ortega was allowed to step out to his left and gather it up and start another City attack. Maybe the last one of the first half, because it's 2-1 to Real Madrid, and there is only about 90 seconds to play on Talksport 2 this evening. Stones joins the attack, moves up towards the edge of the penalty area, plays it into Rodri, spreads it out wide into Bernardo Silva, who just about keeps it in. Does keep it in. Keeps it in terms of City on the attack, but not getting the ball into the central area. Goes wide, then back to Akanji. Akanji tries to centre it to the forward march of Diaz. Diaz finding Foden, who's being pursued by Toni Kroos. And then it goes out towards Guardiola on this near side. And City just sort of slowing the play down and keeping possession as we approach half-time. Not forcing the issue, not desperate to get the ball into the box, but trying to prise the Madrid defence open. And Toni Kroos has done brilliantly, I think, throughout the course of the match, just to give his team the opportunity to pinch the ball. Here they come again, at pace, Real Madrid, after turning the ball over. Vinicius Junior onto Rodrigo, who scampers up towards the left edge of the area. Vinicius Junior takes over. Rodrigo gets it back again. Back into Vinicius Junior, right angle of the penalty area. Bernardo Silva coming on the blind side, and he didn't look in his wing mirrors there, Vinicius Junior. And Bernardo Silva pinched it, and City have it in the final few seconds of added time at the end of the first half. They've given it away again, and Rudiger is coming forward. And the Madridist's not happy about the fact that whilst he was on the attack, the referee from France decided to blow his whistle, but blow his whistle he did. And, Real Madrid were ahead at half-time in the game here last year, and City fought back with a strong second-half showing. They will need to do the same again after taking the lead in 1 minute and 50 seconds thanks to an inventive free kick from Bernardo Silva. 2 goals in the space of a minute, both with deflected efforts. Diaz scoring an own goal after 12. Rodrigo just 90 seconds later with an effort which squirmed past the goalkeeper. Means at the break, Stuart Pearce, it's 2-1 to Real Madrid.
It is, and City, from that wonderful, wonderful start that they had, I think they'll go into the dressing room with their heads down slightly, because I don't think they've been in the game, and it's been Madrid who looked as though they've got more cutting edge and more drive towards City's goal, albeit they've been a bit fortunate with 2 deflections that have got their nose in front.
What did you think of Manchester City's reaction to going 2-1 down?
I think they're a bit down at the moment. I'm looking for a spark in their camp, and I've not seen one from Haaland or Bernardo Silva or Foden or the more creative players, if you like. And I've seen a Manchester City side that are not foot perfect with their passing and give the ball away more than I've seen them in modern times.
Well, it is a fascinating game, no doubt about it. De Bruyne not involved tonight from the start because he wasn't feeling well, so he's only on the bench. It meant that Phil Foden playing in that number 10 position. He hasn't seen too much of the ball.
No, he hasn't. And as I say, we mentioned earlier when Rodri had the ball and got dispossessed, the front 4 in front of him not offering themselves as clinically as you would like them to. And it'll be interesting to see whether there is a change made at half-time, and that will dictate that will tell you a little bit about Pep's mentality to this game and what he thinks the performance is like, I believe.
Yeah, well, certainly Manchester City got off to the perfect start, a goal after 1 minute and 50 seconds. It was such a good free kick from Bernardo Silva, and that's the kind of genius that you need. You mentioned it during the commentary. Sometimes a player has to exploit an opportunity that they have seen themselves, and he did exactly that.
These are the margins that you need someone to deliver in games that are as ludicrously tight as back end of the Champions League quarterfinals onwards. Somebody's got to do something. It's either going to be a mistake or somebody's got to do something that special, and we saw that from City to get their nose in front. But obviously subsequently you've got to give credit to Madrid. They've responded well to going a goal behind.
Is there a touch of fortune about the fact that they are in front, Real Madrid?
100%. 2 massive deflections that have wrong-footed the goalkeeper, and he's had both efforts, in my eyes, covered, that have ended up nestling in the back of the net, and that is a killer. And you can expect maybe 1 in a game, but to have 2 in the first 15-16 minutes is really hurtful.
Well, for all the fallout from the game tonight, Real Madrid against Manchester City, make sure you join Danny Kelly and Andy Brassel on the Trans-Europe Express this Sunday at 9 o'clock. They'll cover all the results of the weekend European games, tonight, tomorrow and Thursday night's games as well, all be reviewed and dissected in great detail. That's Trans-Europe Express, Sunday night, 9 o'clock, Talksport. Right, when we come back, we'll update you from around the Champions League and the EFL.
Champions League live on Talksport 2 with Village Hotels. With 33 locations across the UK, Village Hotels have everything under one roof for a great breakaway.
Happy birthday to you. Okay, Nathan, you're next. Happy birthday to you.
Mum, my birthday's not till next month.
Like getting your money's worth? Grab a McDonald's Save a Meal deal. That's a cheeseburger or mayo chicken, medium fries and drink for just $3.99. Also available via Just Eat until the 7th of May. Delivery price uplift and fees apply. Price may vary.
Right, time for Dulux Trade Vinyl Mat.
Diamond mat's best for high traffic areas. Here you go.
Aren't you from Dulux Decorator Centre? I didn't know you...
Delivered? We do. We're with you when you're too busy to come to us.
Nice. Can I order online through my...
Trade account? Sure. With your trade discount, prices tailored to you and Nectar points, you'll save every time you shop.
Nice one. Time for a brew.
Visit us in-store or online today. Dulux Decorator Centre. Moving forwards with you.
Where would we be without curiosity? It's the drive that takes us to new places.
It even got us to the moon.
So satisfy your curiosity about electric cars with the Hyundai Explore Electric event, which is on until the 30th of June, where you'll find our award-winning range of electric cars, including the Ioniq 5. Explore more at Hyundai.co.uk. It's the dawn of a new Hyundai.
Hear the biggest sports stories first and fast with the Back Page Review on Talksport with Tesco Mobile for Business. Listen to Talksport Breakfast every weekday morning from 6 for the latest breaking Back Page news, plus unbeatable reaction, opinion and comment. The Back Page Review on Talksport with Tesco Mobile for Business. Join Tesco Mobile and get business phone bills for up to 40% less than the big mobile networks. Tesco Mobile, every little helps. For applicable terms and verification, see tescomobile.com/business.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the Premier League and the English Football League.
Thursday night,
the Europa League live on Talksport 2.
Oh, that's magnificent!
More games than ever. Bayer Leverkusen versus West Ham.
Coverage from 7, kick-off 8 p.m.
That is brilliant.
Thursday night
on Talksport 2.
It's a sensational goal!
Night goals cometh. Talksport 2.
The Social with Adeola Depot and Rory Jennings. Tomorrow afternoon from 3 on Talksport 2. Outspoken opinions and decisive debate following all the action.
We talk about football in a bipartisan and educated way. Well, I do at least.
I try.
News, views, fun and football fixtures.
It's not just football though. Bit of boxing, bit of horse racing, even a bit of rugby.
And it's a try!
And some phenomenal guests.
If you can't get in this squad after showing the form he showed, I don't think it looks too good for him.
This is the place to be.
It's Addy and Rory. It's The Social on Talksport 2.
What a goal!
The Social.
Tomorrow afternoon from 3.
It just works, doesn't it?
On Talksport 2.
It's the reason Marconi invented radio and God gave you ears.
And he scored. It's a brilliant goal.
The Champions League live on Talksport 2.
Stop it! There is the rumblings of anticipation surrounding those 22 main protagonists whose job tonight it is to try and steer their team closer to the semi-finals of this great competition. In towards the near post, and it squirms under Andre Lunin for Bernardo Silva. 1 minute and 50 seconds on the clock. It's the perfect start for Manchester City.
It's been brilliant, breathless, but then again we've got two brilliant teams, coached brilliantly, and we're the fortunate ones.
They come forward here, and it's smacked in from the edge of the box by Camavinga. Deflected effort, outwits Ortega, and it's 1-1. And it's Rodrigo through the legs of the goalkeeper. He's completely missed it, and they're in front. They turned it around in 60 seconds. Madrid are in the lead. Well, it all happened in the blink of an eye, didn't it? Manchester City were in front, then they weren't, and then they were behind. And as a result of that, Manchester City have got to mount a second half comeback here in the Bernabeu tonight. What a night of Champions League football we have got for you up and down the country, up and down the continent. Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 2 is the half-time score in the Emirates Stadium. Bukayo Saka put Arsenal in front. Serge Gnabry equalised just 6 minutes later. Terrible mix-up actually by the Arsenal defence. An Arsenal defence is usually so solid, and then William Saliba giving away a penalty for a foul on Leroy Sané. Harry Kane converting it. Of course Harry Kane converted it against Arsenal, and as a result Bayern Munich are in at the break with a slender lead in North London. You know about Real Madrid leading Manchester City by 2-1 in the Championship. Half-time in the 8 o'clock kickoff leads Sunderland 0-0. Underway in the second half, Millwall 0, Leicester City 0. Leicester, of course, chasing the title in the second tier. Plymouth 0, Queen's Park Rangers 0. Preston 1, Huddersfield 1. Sheffield Wednesday struggling towards the bottom 0. Norwich 2, and Southampton 2-0 up against Coventry City. The way the table looks at this moment in time, Leicester and Leeds will be the top two, 89 and 87 points respectively, but Ipswich will have a game in hand over Leeds. A good 9 points back from those automatic positions. Southampton will have 78. Norwich moving up to 70 from 42. Looks like they're going to secure a position in the playoffs this campaign. At the bottom of the table, Huddersfield's 1-1 draw means that they just keep Birmingham at arm's length. But Sheffield Wednesday really struggling, trailing by 2-0 tonight, and very much ensconced in a relegation battle at the second tier level. In League 2, 1-1 tonight between Stockport and Colchester away from home. 81 points means they'll still be top of the table with a game in hand to second place Wrexham, who are leading 2-0 this evening against Crawley Town, and they have 79 points from their games so far in League 2. So you're up to date pretty much all the big results up and down the country in the EFL and the Champions League. Big night of Europa League action on Thursday night, live on TalkSport and TalkSport 2. And tomorrow we've got full commentary of PSG against Barcelona.
I've said all the way through this competition, not necessarily that Paris will win it, but they are better set up to win it, I think, than they have ever been.
Driven in for number 3 by Lee Kangin. His first goal for Paris Saint-Germain.
They need an extraordinary night from Kylian Mbappe.
Barcelona lead 6-1 on the night, 6-5 on aggregate. You will never see a European fight back like this again.
When you are from the roots of the club, when you really care about it, it's like you have more pressure, but because you want the club to perform well.
Lewandowski's getting across his marker, and he gets the faintest of touches, and Barcelona still the lead. He's it up for Rafinha! Oh, Rafinha! God, I love the Champions League. Well, Sunday evening over on Talksport, European football expert Kevin Hatchard joined Danny Kelly on the Trans-Euro Express, and he believes Barcelona have a fantastic chance of making the Champions League final this year.
Well, the first thing to say is that Barcelona's financial plan absolutely required them to at least get this far. So that's the first bit done. And that's important financially, of course. You know, they don't have a lot of wriggle room. I think there's still a lot of people trying to work out how they can afford to have the squad that they do, and that's going to be a discussion for the summer, I'm sure. I just think it's really interesting because Xavi, I think, was thoroughly fed up when he said, "Look, I'm going at the end of the season." You know, he looked like he had the weight of the world on his shoulders, and he can still be a bit tetchy, and he still feels that his squad are unfairly treated by the press. He feels that he's unfairly treated by the press. We talked last week, didn't we, about him suing a couple of journalists, saying that they've written stories that are simply untrue about him. But the truth is, on the pitch, in the last couple of months, they've been really good. You know, they put together an 11-match unbeaten run. They were able to see off Napoli. I think it helped that they ran into a Napoli team that's nowhere near as good as the team that played last season. But you have this really weird flip, because if you look at last season, they won La Liga, and yet their European campaign was disastrous. You know, they went out in the group stage of the Champions League. They then got knocked out of the Europa League. And so, you know, that was a real blow. Whereas this season, they're 8 points behind Real Madrid. It's highly unlikely they're going to overhaul them between now and the end of the season. And yet they've got a genuine opportunity to get to the final, if you look at the way the draws opened up.
Well, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, Paris Saint-Germain take on Barcelona, live on Talksport 2. Danny Mills, the former England defender, will be alongside Jim Proudfoot. That should be a stunning game. We've got a stunning game in prospect here as well. Second half commentary to come from the Bernabeu, where Real Madrid ahead at half-time by 2-1. Ruben Dias's own goal after 12 minutes. And that was doubled up with a Rodrigo strike just moments later. Both of the goals heavily deflected beyond Ortega. And Bernardo Silva's second-minute strike seems a long time ago now.
It certainly does. Their form's been not great, I think, since they took that early lead. They didn't build on it in any way, shape or form. And it's been Madrid, I think, that have been pushing the most. And I think City have almost been a little bit rocked going in at half-time.
Yeah, high up above the goal away to our right-hand side. The Manchester City supporters are looking a little bit forlorn as the players come out for the second half, slowly marching down the steps and up the others onto the pitch. They've got a big job to do in this second half. Do you think that at this stage, if this scoreline was to stay as it was, Manchester City have got enough to overturn it at the Etihad?
I think City on any given day can overturn any result, but from what I've seen from Real Madrid with their counter-attack threat and how direct they've been, I think they've certainly got the ability to score on the road as well, Sam. So, listen, whilst I think City, yes, they can turn this round, there's no doubt. I think if they conceded another one, it's going to have to be some performance, and I don't think they're playing well enough at the moment collectively to deliver that performance if they do ship a 2-goal advantage.
Well, once the quarterfinals start, you know you're at the business end of the season. The route to the final is already mapped out. The names are stellar, and whoever progresses from this game will play the winners of Arsenal against Bayern Munich in the semi-final, whilst Atletico, Dortmund, PSG and Barcelona lurk on the other side of the draw. About to get underway in the second half. The white shirts, white shorts and white socks of Real Madrid will attack the goal away to our left in the second 45. It is all dark jerseys, dark shorts and socks for Manchester City, but with lightning blue flashing through the middle of the jerseys and thick luminous pink trim with pink numbers attacking the goal away to our right-hand side. No changes from either side at the start of the second 45 here on Talksport 2. And City's recent record against Spanish sides is something to be admired. They've only lost one of their last 12 European games against teams from Spain.
Yeah, I think they've got to improve their performance to make sure there's not a defeat in the column at the moment from what we've seen in the first half. I think they've been okay, but they'll be disappointed they've not created too many clear-cut chances, if anything. I think the goal come from a sort of opportune moment from Silva.
Well, it's Pep Guardiola's 24th game against Madrid as coach, and his record has been pretty impressive up until now, but his team are playing out from the back here under pressure from Rodrigo and Bellingham, and they managed to beat that press. Ortega clipping the ball to the right full-back Akanji. Out towards the near side, a little nudge from Mendy generates a free kick for Phil Foden, who is pushed in the back, gets pushed in the chest, has a little bit of bargy with Mendy, and it's going to be a free kick on this near touchline, and it might have been worthy of a yellow card, that second push, I think.
Yeah, slight nudge, I would say. I think the
handbags afterwards were unnecessary.
No need at all. No.
Would you have got involved in that in any way, shape?
I don't own a handbag, so if truth be known, Sam.
It strikes me as weird, you're now such a modern man.
Thank you. I've thought about getting a man bag, but I just can't get it over the line.
I've got a spare one. I know you don't like to pay for things, so I'm quite happy to donate one to the cause.
Yeah, I might have to sort of sport it behind the scenes at home and see how it feels.
Do that. Real Madrid 2, Manchester City 1. Camavinga has gone on a wander, but the referee blew his whistle quite some time ago for a tug on Rodri, and a free kick has been given to Manchester City just short of the halfway line. You're listening to Real Madrid 2, Manchester City 1 in the Champions League. Live on Talksport 2 with Village Hotels. Visit villagehotels.com. Here is Ortega on the edge of his own penalty area. Big couple of weeks for Manchester City. They've got Luton Town at home before taking on Real Madrid at home in the second leg, and then that big semi-final live on Talksport of the FA Cup against Chelsea. Hope still to be in the Champions League then, as Haaland commits a foul on Camavinga. It's a little bit of a bitty start to the second 45, Stuart. Certainly not the free-flowing football we saw for the majority of the first.
No, I totally agree. As I say, both teams looking to get some sort of rhythm about their play in this second half.
Here is Rodri striding through the centre circle, tucks it infield, finds Kovacic, who slips it up to Bernardo Silva, who weaves his way away from 3 or 4 bodies. It's congested inside the box. They go wide to Grealish instead. On the left-hand side, he turns and fires it in, right-footed, right through the middle of the goal, and over the top of the crossbar.
Yeah, he's done really well working just inside the box there, and I mean, he's missed it by a country mile. As I say, you're looking, aiming for the far post, trying to curl it at the far post so it drifts itself in. And Pep's reaction to it probably said it all.
City warming up, a few substitutes. Oscar Bob and Alvarez down there, just going through their paces. Here is Foden, who travels laterally inside the Real Madrid half. He eludes Bellingham and Kovacic, and then plays it out towards the left. The ball comes infield via Rodri into Stones, and then Stones out towards the left-hand side. Collected now by Kovacic. Kovacic turning it back. He's under a little bit of pressure here, and he has to readjust from Valverde's attention to nudge it into the centre circle. And then it's a brilliant ball by Guardiola out to the left, and Foden, who clips it up into the area, but it's evaded Erling Haaland headed away by Ferland Mendy, but only as far as Grealish on the left-hand side. City come again. Foden causing damage by just wandering out to that left-hand side, and Vardiol made a brilliant pass down the left side to him. And Grealish then travelling with the ball gets tripped by Vinicius Junior, and it's a free kick in a dangerous position.
Yeah, it's amazing how sort of this game, as it meanders along, whether Madrid will think having a lead, any lead going to Manchester is a good result. The other side of that is all they need is a sight or a goal and an equaliser to make this performance look a lot better than it probably is at this moment in time.
Jack Grealish getting a little bit of attention. First from Vinicius Junior, who taps him on the head and says something in his ear, and then as he gets up and walks to the edge of the penalty area as they prepare the free kick, he gets pushed in the chest by a rather aggressive and assertive Antonio Rudiger, who's never quite shy of coming forward.
A little bit frustrated there with Grealish going down. I think the goalkeeper here, with Silva stood over the ball, will be a little bit nervous.
Silva smacks it goalwards, right from the dead centre of the Madrid half, into the wall. It bounces to the near side, and Mendy looks to escape. He was being tussled with by Foden. The free kick is given against the England man. And Madrid will be able to escape. And again, another pause in play, and there's been probably far too many of those in the opening 6 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, it's not got any rhythm to it at all, and I think that I'm not sure which team that helps. If you're all equal, it helps Manchester City. With Manchester City trying to get back in the game, I think it probably benefits Madrid.
Bernardo Silva running forward down the right-hand side, stopped by Rudiger. Big, strong challenge by him, and then collected by Bellingham, who gallops upfield. His long, rangy body taking the ball away from Rodri, poking it out to Vinicius Junior on this near touchline. Back in field it goes to Kroos, and then dropping deep to collect it is Rodrigo. Again, they're very lopsided on this near side, where Rodrigo, Vinicius Junior and Bellingham are all wide of the penalty area inside Manchester City territory. Swept by Camavinga, out to the far side. In it goes to Camavinga again. Tries to clip it over the top for Rodrigo. It was ambitious and probably a little heavy. I just wonder whether or not Manchester City have just dropped a little bit deeper to deny the space in behind for Real Madrid in the second half, having given up so much ground in the first.
Well, that space in behind has been an Achilles heel, not just in the game tonight. We spoke at half-time about in the Premier League. I've seen that ball in behind their back line on occasion. Sometimes they've got away with it, sometimes they haven't.
Haaland and Rudiger indulging in another battle of the wills. Rudiger again comes away with the ball. Seems to be quite enjoying his night, but it's one of those battles that you can have the best of as a defender for 90 minutes, and then 1 second into injury time, Haaland can just move off you, score a goal, and actually the battle completely swings the other way.
Well, exactly that, and Madrid probably might think their work's done, getting their nose in front, but a goal from City to equal it up, and they'll be delighted with it.
Bellingham wins it on halfway, releases Rodrigo. He tries to tuck it around the corner for Bellingham. He's not precise enough, and one of the criticisms about him this season is he's not been consistent enough with his performances. He scored the 2 goals actually in their last game against given away cheaply, and Bellingham's got it inside the area. Rodri the guilty party. It's back to Bellingham, left side, tries to drag the ball towards the far corner and misses the target. What a chance for Real Madrid. And the ball came to Rodri. I don't think he was expecting it, and it sort of bounced off him and straight into the path of Jude Bellingham. It was a poor touch actually by Rodri, and then Bellingham twisted one way then the other, and then almost hit the ball against his standing foot, and it deflected past the post.
Yeah, as I say, I don't think the ball was meant for Rodri. It's cannoned off him straight to Bellingham. He twisted and turned, and then just pulled his shot poorly across the far post.
Haaland trying to wrestle with Rudiger, and Rudiger was too physical on this occasion, wins the free kick, gives away the free kick, and it's going to be a Manchester City ball, 15 yards from the edge of the penalty area. He was backing in there, but Rudiger had his arms wrapped around the midriff of the striking Viking, dragged him to the floor, and it is going to be a free kick.
I find the sad thing about football this day and age is whether this game's going to be a really good one or not often depends on the referee. If the referee's too finicky and he lets the players get away with too much, the game often turns into a bit of a farce. I've got to say the referee's not done bad tonight.
Here is the free kick taken by Grealish towards the far post. The header by Rodri goes over the top of the crossbar. He rose brilliantly high above Kroos and nodded the ball back from whence it came. It was an angled ball, right-footed towards the far edge of the 6-yard box by Grealish, and as he headed the ball back down the centre of the goal, it just was 2 or 3 yards over the top of the crossbar.
Yeah, wonderful leap, I've got to say. Just couldn't guide it on target.
Kanji gets involved in a tussle with Rodri, commits a foul, free kick. And Kanji just a little bit concerned there because he was late when he came from behind Rodrigo. He has already been booked. The free kick is Madrid's. And they are a team that are given the freedom to express themselves. I mentioned earlier that City are a more controlled, planned, rehearsed, incredibly reliable machine. It's a clash of approaches. Both managers certainly of the highest qualities and both squads of the highest qualities. I think Pep Guardiola will tell you that his team don't get enough credit for what they've done over the course of the last 8 years. And if they win this tie, he will say that they're not giving enough praise for overcoming the hurdle that's been put in front of them. Here is Rodrigo onto Vinicius Junior down the left-hand side. He shoots towards goal. It's over the top of the crossbar. It was a flasher right over the top of Ortega's net. Ortega looked semi-confident that was going over, but I must admit, when it left the boot of Vinicius Junior, it was only the confidence of the goalkeeper that gave confidence to me that it wasn't going to nestle in the net.
I tell you what, I think John Stones has done his hamstring in that challenge, trying to make that block. The way he was recovering on that recovery run, then a big lunge. I hope I'm wrong.
Well, Rodrigo, in conversation with Vinicius Junior, who's just missed that effort, he's just placating him. John Stones is back on his feet. Let's hope that you are wrong, because the last thing that John Stones needs is another spell on the sidelines. He's been restricted this season to just 23 appearances because of a combination of injuries. He was outpaced by JP Mateta at the weekend and looked a little bit ring rusty. And he seems to be okay at this moment in time. We'll keep an eye on him. Here's Camavinga, halfway line. Carvajal right side. Back into Camavinga once again. Puts it through the legs of Bernardo Silva. Then runs into Rodri. The two collide. The ball spills in favour of Phil Foden. And the counter-attack is on here. It's collected by Kovacic. Joining the attack is Gvardiol. They're midway inside Madrid territory. Out wide to the left. Collected by Kovacic. Back to Gvardiol. Infield to Rodri. Space on this near touchline for Bernardo Silva. Kanji gets it first. Then back into Rodri again. Vinicius Junior was coming from behind Rodri, but he calmly played it to his left. Stones moving up towards the edge of the penalty area. Gets it back to Rodri, who's dictating things more now. Out to the right side. Bernardo Silva. Akanji. And then back in field again to Ruben Diaz. Down the right once more as they control possession here and play composed football here, Manchester City. Foden dropping deep, marshalled by Kroos, who's been excellent with and without the ball. Out wide it goes to Bernardo Silva, edge of the area, little twirl, comes backwards because there's no route to go. There's 4 white shirts, then another 4, and then 2, blocking up all of the holes as Foden has nibbled at from behind by Kroos, nibbled at by Camavinga. Referee says play on because City have got the ball. Foden loses his temper with the ref. The Frenchman says play on, and City have it with Rodri, who tries to push it out towards the near side, but again his pass is not perfect, goes behind Bernardo Silva. It's out of play.
No, I don't think I've seen Rodri give the ball away as much or miss time passes as much as I've actually seen. And both teams look as though they're in a situation like they've gone into a casino in Vegas, is the best analogy I can give you, with £1,000 in their pocket and they're £1,500 up, thinking to themselves, shall I stick or shall I twist? And I'm not sure. And they both look as though they're in that mode at the moment. Both Madrid are in front and City are thinking, well, we're not doing too bad, we're only a goal down, we'll turn that round at home.
Is that a scenario you're familiar with?
No, I've just made it up.
Here's Foden on the near side, trying to get a shot away from distance. He cuts in left foot, he drives it goalwards. It's caught by Lunin, and it's away to safety for Real Madrid, who lead by 2-1. Goals coming in the first half from Rodrigo, and an own goal from Ruben Diaz after Bernardo Silva had put City in front. And at this juncture, there's still all to play for in the Champions League quarter-finals. Arsenal still behind to Bayern Munich, but here's Bernardo Silva picking the ball up, edge of the D, trying a shot towards the near corner, patted away by Lunin. And then the second ball was won by a white shirt rather than a dark one, and it's cleared upfield by Real Madrid. But City just starting to get a grip on proceedings. 63% possession for them, 37 to the home side, although most of the efforts so far have gone Madrid's way. Stones, centre field, tracked by Camavinga, back to Bernardo Silva, middle of the Madrid half, wide towards the right, Akanji. The noise levels turn up inside the Bernabeu. They want maybe a little bit more from their team. One or two of them looking a little bit tired as they drop a little bit deeper and end up trying to get into a formation which prevents Manchester City from getting in behind their back line. A lot of the football happening in front of the Madrid defence.
Yeah, it is, but you just get a feeling City are building up a bit of confidence about their play. But the one thing that worries me is this Madrid side. If you spread too much to play, they can cut through you. And the way City are spreading at the moment to play, it's either boom or bust almost.
Here is Foden cutting in from the right-hand side. Stone. The problem is if they lose the ball, isn't it? And then, as you say, they're set and spread that they have been now. And there's a chance for Vinicius Junior to escape, and he's escaping now down the left channel. He's being trapped by Foden. He stops the ball, comes back infield, wriggles away from Akanji, then runs at Diaz. He pinches the ball, Akanji, but Rodrigo picks it up. Diaz comes out towards the right fullback position, but Rodrigo has got it. He turns it back into Kroos, and then on to Rodrigo again. This is good football from Real Madrid, sensible football, because they've kept the ball here in a tight circumstance and they've dragged themselves up the pitch.
Their first thought when they turned it over, Sam, was go straight for goal, wasn't it? It was only a second thought when things run aground.
Rodrigo into Vinicius Junior, edge of the area. Valverde's going to hit it. He did, but he misplaced his shot and ended up almost swirling it closer to the corner flag than the goal. And it goes behind and away for a goal kick. England have beaten the Republic of Ireland, and Lauren James and Alex Greenwood were on the score sheet as they did so. And it was a vital victory for Serena Biegman's team. Made a few changes tonight, and a welcome victory for the Lionesses, who needed a victory in their qualification group for Euro 2025 after being held by Sweden on Friday night. And I think it was a pretty disappointing result, really. Here it's 2-1 to Real Madrid. Elsewhere tonight, Bayern Munich still in front in the game at the Emirates Stadium. Millwall 0, Leicester. Millwall 1, Leicester 0 at the top of the Championship. Big goal going in at the New Den. Plymouth behind to QPR. Preston 1-1 with Huddersfield. Sheffield Wednesday got a goal back against Norwich, and Southampton lead now by just 2-1 against Coventry. Stockport in front against Colchester. Surely now they'll be up into League One. Foden on towards the right side, looking for Bernardo Silva as City come forward again. Kroos is there once more to intervene, to pick the ball off and take it upfield. Bellingham tries to do a little scorpion flick and only gives it away in a dangerous position. It comes to Rodri, then Kovacic, then Rodri floats it to Grealish. He's inside the area on the left-hand side. He takes on Carvajal, gets to the byline, goes to produce a cross. Carvajal slides it behind, it's away for a corner.
Yeah, really good opportunity there, and they're the sort of situations that Jack Grealish has got to make just a touch more of. He cut in earlier and just couldn't get his shot right on that occasion. Done really well, but the ball's got to be fired across the face of goal.
How good is Tony Kroos? 32, contract expires at the end of the season. He'll sign another one. Here's Grealish, back to the left edge of the area. Now on the edge of the D is Foden, trying to turn to get a shot away. He has the ball pinched from him by Vinicius Junior, and now he has to get clear. But Erling Haaland comes back and chases him out towards this near side and prevents a counter-attack with a really well-timed challenge.
Yeah, good play by Haaland. And once again he turns the ball over, just showing his defenders how to deal with Vinicius Junior.
Well, he's complaining. They've been complaining that he doesn't have too many touches, but he's had 2 or 3 vital touches in the space of about 4 or 5 seconds there that have helped his team recover the ball. And that's important, especially at this stage of a pivotal Champions League tie. 64 minutes gone on Talksport 2, 2-1 to Real Madrid.
Yeah, as you say, a goal for either team is so crucial. You know, we could be coming away with everything even on City's point of view. Alternatively, a 2-goal advantage for Madrid. And it's monumental.
Kovacic forward looking for Haaland. Again, doesn't get hold of it. And Camavinga will receive it from Valverde and they'll look to escape. They then turn it over. And it has been a little bit like this in the second half, although Manchester City have looked the more composed in possession. They have turned it over one or two times, but Foden has wriggled free here, edge of the area, after almost conspiring to give it away, and then Valverde steps across, and now a chance for Madrid to break. And Bellingham puts it into open green grass, into the right corner of the field. Ortega just about gets there and pulls it back into the box and picks it up.
Well, as I say, it was the right ball. Once again, turnover of possession, ball straight in behind, looking to hurt Manchester City, but just couldn't, too much distance on the ball.
Real Madrid 2, Manchester City 1 on Talksport 2. 25 minutes remaining in the Bernabeu on a mild night. Roof closed, humid inside the stadium. And with the second leg to come next Wednesday, live on Talksport and Talksport 2 of both these two big titanic European battles. Here is Rodri in the centre of midfield, pushing the ball out to the right side. Bernardo Silva takes over for Manchester City. Boy, do they need a goal now. Stones onto Foden, right-footed into the top corner. His left-footed drive from the edge of the D sensationally evades the goalkeeper. It's a bullet into the net from Phil Foden. In a season where he regularly makes the headlines, Phil Foden takes centre stage at the Bernabeu with an absolute thunderbolt. Bernardo Silva down the left-hand side, onto the body of Phil Foden. He allowed it to run across his right foot, onto his left, and then he smashed it into the top corner, beyond the despairing dive of Lunin. And it's Real Madrid 2, Manchester City 2, and it is Phil Foden.
I think at the top echelons of European football, you have to do something special to get goals, and Phil Foden has just stepped up for his team brilliantly. Silva into Stones, Stones across the face of goal, and Foden two-touch into the roof of the net, postage stamp, magnificent. And all of a sudden, the game's there to be won.
It is a terrific left-footed effort from Manchester City's number 10 tonight, Phil Foden. He was given the nod in place of Kevin De Bruyne, and he has shone in the spotlight. First half he was a little bit out of the game, second half he's come much more into it, and that effort was the mark of someone full of confidence and with no little skill. It is a terrific top-class goal on a top-class stage. Here is Valverde winning it off Guardiola. Madrid know they probably need to take a victory back to Manchester if they're to have any hopes of evading this Manchester City team and getting through to the semi-finals. This will change their approach now.
It will. It will totally change it. I think from Madrid's point of view, they're in that casino, which we spoke about earlier, and thought, you know what, we'll hang on to what we got. That won't be enough now, I don't think, in this second leg. And to be fair, in the second half, bar the first 5 minutes of it, I think City have been the team that have dominated, certainly, territory.
Foden's effort, getting past Andre Lunin, top corner of the net, lovely little touch, his right foot onto his left, and then he opened his body, and he smashed it with real venom into the far corner. It was unreachable by the Ukrainian goalkeeper. And all of a sudden, the mood has changed again inside this stadium. The goal from Foden has just hushed the Bernabeu crowd. I think Carlo Ancelotti's team were looking a little bit more defensive, were dropping back maybe a little bit too deep, and although they still had the threats on the counter-attack, they weren't able to use those weapons as much as they had in the first half, Stuart.
No, they haven't been able to, you're right there, and this might just play into City's hands now. Madrid will realise they're going to have to come out, chase the game that little bit more, and I think from City, if they can play this possession-based game and wait for the opportunities to arise.
Preston have taken a 3-1 lead over Huddersfield. Bad news for Huddersfield Town. Southampton 2-1 against Coventry. Norwich have been paid back to 2-2 in the game with Sheffield Wednesday, showing a little bit of fight. And still Leeds 0, Sunderland 0 in the Championship tonight, and Leicester still behind against Millwall away from home. 70 minutes on the clock in the Bernabeu. It's 2-2. Real Madrid against Manchester City, and there's still a very long way to go in this tie, and it's setting us up beautifully for the return at the Etihad in a week's time. Rodri elevating the ball out towards the far side. Guardiola into Rodri, now Foden, and City playing with a bit of a swagger now. Foden turns it round the corner past Camavinga, elevates the ball out to the left-hand side, takes a touch Grealish, then motors towards the edge of the penalty area, looks to face up Carvajal, then turns, fires it back. Guardiola goes to shoot, does shoot! Oh, what a hit! Josko Guardiola with his first ever goal for Manchester City. He launches a rocket into the Real Madrid net from 20 yards out. Set up by Grealish, thundered in by Guardiola, and Manchester City have come from behind to lead by 3-2, and Josko Guardiola has done a spectacular job. Silence inside the Bernabeu, because Manchester City have gone full throttle, taken the game to Real Madrid, and they are starting to take the game away from Real Madrid. It's 3-2.
Well, I've got to say, Grealish has gone into the edge of the box and laid a ball back to Guardiola, and he's miscontrolled it, which has opened the goal up for him. He's chased the ball and hit it. Tony Kroos has got to do a lot better than that. He almost sort of half got out the way and he guided it into the far corner. And from a game at half-time where you thought, City are in a bit of trouble here, they've got to be careful. This is what champions do. They turn games round. Fantastic.
What a fantastic finish that was from Josko Guardiola. His last goal was for RB Leipzig against Mönchengladbach a year ago. It was well worth the wait. It's a stunning finish on a night of stunning finishes. Foden's goal was terrific, probably the peach of the evening, and that goal was pretty impressive as well. We've had a couple of substitutions for Real Madrid. I'll outline them in just a second, but they're on the attack with Vinicius Junior played in by Camavinga. It goes against Akanji and goes out of play and away for a goal kick away to our left-hand side.
Super ball from Camavinga there, just played in Vinicius Junior. Good defending by Akanji. And City, well, I wouldn't say it's been a virtuosus performance by them, but they've got their nose in front and they've got players in their ranks that can do something special, and you've always got a chance.
Kroos for Modric is one of the changes. The ball goes in deep towards the far post, punched away by Ortega. It'll go out on the other side and away for a second successive corner. The other change was Rodrigo off and Brahim Diaz, the former Manchester City player, on. Arsenal 2, Bayern Munich 2. Trossard with the goal.
As I say, all across Europe tonight, goals galore. Superb.
Defence is on top. Rudiger has got Jack Grealish by the scruff of the neck as the ball goes in towards the near post. Camavinga gets up there, but it's a bit too high for him. It's smashed away by Phil Foden as the ball drops on the edge of the penalty area and it's cleared out towards the far side. What a topsy-turvy match we've had here. 3-2 to Manchester City. Non-stop goal-mouth action once again, and the slaloming season of fun continues on Talksport and Talksport 2. You never know quite where you are when you're watching a football match at the top level nowadays, do you?
No, you don't, because there's so much talent on the pitch. A goal can come from absolutely anything. Momentum in the game swings very, very quickly. And, well, we've had a few momentum swings in this game, haven't we, from start to finish at the moment.
That is definitely true. Good finish from Leandro Trossard down at the Emirates Stadium, and it's 2-2. Here is Jack Grealish coming forward in the Bernabeu. Manchester City leading by 3-2. with 15 minutes or more to play. Grealish gets to the byline. Modric is chasing him, and he got the final touch on the ball, and it goes behind and away for a corner kick to the team from England. Manchester City's manager Pep Guardiola really celebrated the goal from Phil Foden, and well he might as well. We've seen a replay of it. It is a terrific finish, left-footed, round the goalkeeper's outstretched right arm and into the postage stamp.
I think why he was so excited by that finish and that goal is, I don't think if you consider your team are building up pressure and looking like scoring at the drop of a hat, then all well and good. The goals sort of almost come out of nothing in many ways, both of the goals in this half.
Here is the corner in towards the near post from Manchester City, from the left side to the edge of the 6-yard box. It's helped away by Real Madrid towards halfway. They had started to build up a little bit of momentum, Manchester City, but then that sort of deflated before they'd scored those goals. A counter-attack from Brahim Diaz is interrupted by Josko Gvardiol, who was withdrawn, remember, at half-time after an iffy performance against Crystal Palace on Saturday lunchtime. He's certainly done himself the world of good tonight, not only with his goal but his defensive display.
Yeah, we talked about his performance at the weekend. It was disappointing. I thought he was arguably one of the best players on the pitch against Arsenal, so that goal will do him no harm at all. You've got to bear in mind, he's still quite young. He's 22 years old, I think.
Yeah, 22. £78 million from Leipzig. And getting his first goal for Manchester City tonight. Here he is on the ball, sending it back to his goalkeeper in Ortega. And Manchester City now will be quite happy to see this result be the final scoreline in the Bernabeu. It's a little bit high, and Dani Carvajal almost got caught out by the flight of the ball there. It's a Madrid throw over on the far side, just short of the halfway line, and they get things moving quickly. Modric takes over. 38 years of age now, Luka Modric. His contract expires in the summer. I'm expecting to probably move on to pastures new now. What a servant he has been. And he's still got the opportunity to leave with not only a La Liga winners medal but a Champions League winners medal. The margin still slender, and if it stays like this, it won't be over going to the Etihad, because of, as you pointed out, the ability for Real Madrid to get goals from anywhere.
Yeah, I think from Madrid's point of view, they'll be hoping to get an equaliser at least to take on the road. City will be delighted with this. I don't think the performance has been great, but certainly 3 goals. Been very clinical.
Well, Bellingham has scored an inordinate number of late goals in stoppage time this season, so don't be too surprised if he pops up with another one tonight. Modric trying to find him on the edge of the area, collides with Akanji. Akanji cuts across him. He shakes his head thinking he should have got something for that. The referee says no foul.
Totally agree, weren't enough in it. He was desperate to get into the box. He was like someone running in on a fourth base there. As soon as he got near the base, hit the ground.
Yeah, almost like a sprinter trying to dip just for the line. Didn't quite make it, and then was having his collar felt by Akanji. And as soon as he felt any sort of contact, he crumpled to the floor, and it was waved away by our French referee. Carvajal rises brilliantly. Camavinga tucks it round the corner for Modric. He runs at pace towards the edge of the Manchester City penalty area. Quickly, Vinicius Junior is onto it. Sends it towards the far edge of the area. And arriving late was Valverde. And what a volley into the corner. What an equaliser. What a match. What a tie. What top quality we've seen in the Bernabeu tonight. Fede Valverde with a terrific finish for Real Madrid to drag them back level, and it's 3-3.
Well, I've got to say, the game is brilliant. From a co-com's point of view, Sam, you can't even prejudge momentum in games or who's got the ascendancy, who hasn't. When the quality of a finish like that, there was no deflection on that occasion, smashed it straight into the far corner. Ortega, all weight on his left foot, couldn't retrieve his position, and Madrid all level.
Wow. What an amazing finish that was from Fede Valverde. Left-sided cross from Vinicius Junior, went over the entirety of the Manchester City defence, and running into the box on the volley, he smashed it high beyond Ortega, and it's 3-3 in the Bernabeu. And I mentioned earlier on we were getting far too used to having games that were finishing 4-3. We might well have another one tonight.
Well, exactly that. You can't call this game. City had the ascendancy in the main in this half, but all of a sudden, you know, Modric comes on. He's symptomatic in the build-up on this.
Here's Bellingham inside the area now, trying to get beyond John Stones, who just steals in front of him as the ball drops in behind the defence. It's smuggled behind and it goes out for a corner.
Well, good movement there. Great passing behind the back line. Bellingham's cushioned it on his head and he's on the 6-yard box. And they've just managed, John Stones just managed to get a challenge. I don't know whether he knew much about it.
Yeah, it could have stuck into the corner. It didn't. It went behind the way for a corner kick, which Modric is about to take. Away to our left-hand side. He floats it in, right-footed, arcs it towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Rudiger went up there, missed him, comes out of the area towards Brahim Diaz, who tries to centre it. Foden takes it down and tries to charge forward. Before he can do that, there is a little bit of pressure from Valverde. The ball breaks on halfway. Grealish takes over. Camavinga commits a tackle, and it's a free kick. Camavinga was going to get a yellow card, but it's going to be Dani Carvajal who gets it for mouthing off, I think.
Yeah, referee not too happy there. Grealish is not too happy that everyone should have got booked for fouling him.
I think he's done his team an absolute favour there, Dani Carvajal. He knows that Camavinga, if he gets booked, is going to miss the second leg. So he's gone up into the face of the referee. He's taken all of the attention away from Camavinga and taken the booking.
Yeah, you might be right there. I'm not sure it was a foul in the first place, if I'm being quite honest with you. I think Jack Grealish was on his way down. And the stadium now is rocking. Madrid thinks they've got their tails up and think they can win the game.
Well, there's every chance they can. There's still 9 minutes to go in the Spanish capital, and it's Real Madrid 3, Manchester City 3. Dani Carvajal, the latest to go into the referee's notebook, and we're still yet to see Kevin De Bruyne. You would have thought on a night like this we might need him. Not so far. Here is Foden, out to the right, into Bernardo Silva, back to Bernardo Silva once again. Then it's on by Rodri to Foden, who's down the right side of the attack. Across comes Camavinga, mugs Foden of the ball, and the ball is cleared into the midway point of the Real Madrid half, and it's going to be a free kick, which is given to the home team. 8 minutes to go, 3-3, still 2-2 over on Talksport between Arsenal and Bayern Munich. What a night of Champions League action.
It's been incredible. Every time I've covered a Champions League game over the last few years, the games and how open they are just incredible. I don't know if it's the new laws of the game with a lack of tackling or what it is, or just the quality maybe. You know, we've seen Foden's goal and Valverde's goal have been magnificent goals.
Yeah, they really have. Absolutely superb. We've had thunderbolts from edges of penalty areas. We've had little deflections which have evaded goalkeepers. We've had deft touches. Bellingham thinks that Akanji fouled him. The referee says play on. Vinicius Junior takes it down the left-hand side. Bellingham gingerly gets to his feet. Madrid have the ball inside opposition territory, and time is ticking away. 7 to go. 3-3 the score on Talksport 2. Now Madrid have clawed it back from 3-2 down. Manchester City had initially clawed it back from 2-1 down after Madrid had fought back from 1-0 down. It's been a seesawing football match in the Santiago Bernabeu. Here is Valverde, right side, onto Carvajal. Carvajal to Brahim Diaz, but he was just pushed it a little bit too far in front of Brahim Diaz. Guardiola got the touch on that. That should be a corner, and Brahim Diaz is saying that to the referee.
Well, the officials certainly have not picked that up. Don't know whether he did or not, to be fair. Touch and go.
Touch and go. Vinicius Junior delivering the ball to Valverde, an absolute peach. I'm not even sure he saw Valverde coming. I think he played that to the far post, hoping that it was going to reach another one of his teammates. And Valverde came stealing in right on the edge of the penalty area and sort of slid has he volleyed it and smashed it into the goal.
Well, I'm going to stick up for the player there and suggest that the way he's pulled it this side of the defender, I think he's seen him coming in.
We'll give him all the credit in the world.
Shall we give him the credit?
Let's just do it.
Yeah,
Let's just do it. Valverde, who scored the goal, I mean, the finish is unquestionable, isn't it? Valverde, who scored the goal, was involved in a bet with Carlo Ancelotti last year. He was furious about the fact that he didn't get enough goals, so he bet him that he would get over 10 goals last year because he said he wasn't contributing enough. Otherwise, Carlo Ancelotti said, I'm going to resign. He got 12.
In all honesty, I could never bet one of my players because if he got close to 10, I wouldn't pick him.
Here is Grealish out to the far side, moving forward at pace for Manchester City, getting to the byline, stopping the ball. Carvajal sees it out, goes out for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. Tchouaméni celebrates that fact. Foden's gone down again, needing a little bit more treatment on the edge of the D. And what happened there? He went past Camavinga. He just left a little bit on him, and then Rudiger had a little nibble as well. Doesn't seem to be too much wrong with that.
I think someone's trodden his Achilles there. Yeah, I think so. Just as he's gone past, there it is. Oh, just on the outside of the foot. Camavinga.
Vinicius Junior has been taken off, and I don't think he's too happy about it. He is being replaced by Joselu. Yes, that's Joselu. Joselu, ex-Stoke and Newcastle, the man with the best goal-scoring ratio when it comes to the Spanish national team at this moment in time, and scoring for fun for the biggest club in the world. Scored more in one season in Madrid than he has done in 3 in the Premier League, and made his debut for this club in 2011, scored on his debut from a Ronaldo pass, and then didn't play for them again until 2023. Outstanding. Phil Foden is getting back to his feet, but it may well be that they take him off. He doesn't look comfortable at all, does he? I hope that's not a bad injury.
Yeah, you know what? The way he's gone down there, I don't like the look of this at all. I've got to say, as I say, Camavinga's trod on his foot, and I wonder whether he's rattled his ankle ligaments on the back of that, rather than the actual impact being the problem.
They are going to make a substitution here, and this is quite a troubling substitution, not only for Manchester City but for England as well. Phil Foden, who looks to have injured his Achilles, is travelling off the pitch gingerly to be replaced by Julian Alvarez with 3 minutes to go. After starring with a stunning finish, his night ends in a very bad way.
It certainly does, and his body language, the way he's shaking his head, sometimes you can just tell by the facial features of players how serious they believe that their injury is, and I don't like the look of this at all.
No, and that would be of concern for club and country. He has been in scintillating form, 22 goals for his club this campaign. A shoe-in to start the first game of the Euros, the last thing that anybody needs when chasing trophies at the end of the season is to lose your best players, and Manchester City and England don't want to lose him. Here is Akanji out to the right-hand side in the final few seconds of this game. There's 2.5 minutes to go. It's 3-3 in the Bernabeu and 2-2 in the Emirates Stadium between Arsenal and Bayern Munich. Trying to emerge on this near side. Brahim Diaz is fouled. It's going to be a yellow card here for Bernardo Silva.
See, I think that's a poor booking, I really do. You've got to give the player credit there. His footwork was that quick that Bernardo Silva, once he commits to the challenge, there's not much you can do about it. I feel a bit sorry for him picking a yellow up there.
Millwall beaten Leicester by 1-0. Southampton winners. Leeds United still playing in their game at Ellen Road. The championship table now sees just a point between Leeds and Leicester at the top of the table. Here's Danny Carvajal down the right hand side into the edge of the box, so it's behind Joselu, and it's cleared away by Manchester City. Back down the throat of the City defence, or a mix up between Kovacic and Rodri. The ball runs left onto Brahim Diaz, back to Ferland Mendy, and then on to Camavinga. 90 seconds still to play on Talksport 2 as Real Madrid look for a goal that could give them an advantage going to the Etihad Stadium in this seesawing game. It's in towards Bellingham at the far post, and Modric's delivery is tucked behind by Stones and out for a corner with a minute to play.
I've got to say, Modric on the pitch, he offers that air of composure. Don't talk to me about age. It's absolutely no indicator of ability, that is for sure. And what a beautiful pass that was.
Absolutely sensational. And he's just taking the corner from the near side. He sends it short, gets it back again to change the angle, gives it back to Brahim Diaz, who tries to bend one into the box, comes back to Dani Carvajal after it's blocked by the defender, and he slashes it well wide of goal, and it goes behind and away for a goal kick.
Well, the angle that we had to view this, I thought that was a lot closer than it actually ended up being.
And it didn't trouble Ortega at all, did it, in the end? And Carvajal looks to the heavens, and everybody inside the stadium now anticipating how many minutes are going to be added on at the end of the game. We've played the 90, and I think there'll be quite a portion at the end of this game. 4 minutes added at the end of the game. Not as many as I was anticipating, I've got to be honest.
I thought there'd be more than that, but I don't know at this stage whether both teams will think, you know what, we'll take what we've got.
And certainly it is similar to the result last year, and I think it has to be said that they haven't been at their best again tonight, Manchester City, and again conceded 3 goals in a match, which is going to be disappointing for Pep Guardiola. But the idea of playing every 3 days, but having the mental fortitude to come back from a goal down against Real Madrid in the midpoint of the second half, turn it round, has been pretty impressive.
It certainly has. As I say, there's been at times where I looked at the performance and you try to make comment on what you see and you think it's been a bit flat and whatever, and all of a sudden they continually turned it round. But listen, they're a team that's used to winning things. They won 3 trophies last year, the biggest prize of all.
Yep, Joselu chasing a long ball shoveled up the pitch by Rudiger. There wasn't much poise in that, and the ball breaks towards this near side. Both these two teams don't mind a late winner. Certainly Real Madrid have been accustomed to them over the course of the campaign so far. Jamie O'Hara and his cohorts taking calls straight after the end of the game on Talksport. 037172233 4. Arsenal shouting for a penalty in the game at the Emirates Stadium. Dani Carvajal's won a free kick for Real Madrid here, and wants a free kick for Real Madrid here. Might be Jack Grealish who gets it in the end, and the two of them colliding inside the Manchester City half of the field. It is going to be a City free kick. Carvajal was the one who was adjudged to have committed the foul. They ended up kicking one another in the end. Grealish very quick to tell everyone that there was a foul on him.
Yeah, he certainly was. How do you view Jack Grealish's performance this evening?
I thought he's had a lot of the ball and he's had an influence on the game. I think he's done quite well.
Yeah. As I say, been steady away, some steady performances, and 1 or 2 performances you think collectively that you think, I've seen City play better. But listen, to go away from home, quarter-finals, and as it stands at the moment, to score 3 goals and be well and truly in the game for the second leg, they'll be delighted.
Yeah, I think Rodri's had a difficult game, giving the ball away more than I've seen him do in the last 2 games than I've seen him since he joined the club.
Yeah, I totally agree. But once again, the talisman looks as though he's going to be undefeated in a City shirt.
And that's all I'm sure is all he's interested in. 3 minutes played of the 4 that have been added at the end of the match here. Have City got one last chance to steal a victory from the Bernabeu in what has been an epic battle between these two great clubs? It's finished Arsenal 2, Bayern Munich 2. All to play for in the Bavarian capital in a couple of nights' time, 10 nights' time. I think they're still screaming and arguing about the possibility of a late penalty in that game. And Pep Guardiola is just watching on as the match peters out here. The ball thrown in from the left side, then given away, then City win it back again and hoik it towards the edge of the Madrid penalty area. 30 seconds left to play. Is there one last attack for Madrid? Ferland Mendy is on it. Now Modric is on it, deep inside his own half. He looks up, he touches it forward to Carvajal, right side, back into Modric, out to the wide right. Here is Fede Valverde, who scored the equaliser. He powers away from Grealish down the right side, gets to the byline, tries to produce a cross. It cannons off Guardiola. There'll be one last throw into the box from the right side for Real Madrid before the conclusion of this match. The same result as last year. Are they going to let him take it? No, they're not. He's blown up early, and the referee calls a halt to proceedings. And it's all to play for at the Etihad Stadium. Madrid wanted revenge, City wanted status quo. The champions of Europe promised to come here and dominate, to sit and not cause too many issues for themselves. They wanted to strike, they certainly did that. It took them just 2 minutes to get on the score sheet, but in the end, Madrid had the fortitude to fight back into the game. It was a seesawing, slaloming victory for football itself, but no winner on the night. Madrid have certainly improved on a year ago, but they didn't have the ability to get away from their visitors. City will feel they have the advantage, even though they were pegged back by a late Fede Valverde goal. And when we bring you commentary in 8 days' time, it will be an epic night at the Etihad Stadium. Stuart, Pearce, what was your assessment?
Well, I don't think I've seen City play better, but listen, they're a team that know how to win, and they're a team that have got such talented individuals that can get goals out of nothing. Bernardo Silva opener, Phil Foden's goal was absolutely magnificent, and they are going to be favourites to go through in this, and they are, they'll be delighted with this result.
Certainly will be. They'll be absolutely delighted with some of the goals they've scored, but there will still be scrutiny about their defence, and they'll be concerned about that high line towards the start of next week, when they have to think about what's going to happen at the Etihad Stadium in 8 nights' time. Both games will be live and right here on the Talksport network. I suppose the big question to ask afterwards is just how fit Phil Foden is going to be, because that injury looked a bit of a troubling one.
It certainly did. As I say, we saw it. I think it was Camavinga trod on his foot, and for me, he was holding his leg further up than the impact zone, and that worries me a little bit. Listen, I'm no physio, I understand that, but I know what a player's face looks like when they come off the pitch when they're very troubled by a potential injury.
Absolutely. Big night tonight. Leicester City dropping points, Leeds dropping points. Ipswich with a game in hand over Leeds United can go to the top of the table the next time they play with Leicester on Friday night on Talksport 2. Millwall beat Leicester by 1-0. England women beat Ireland by 2-0 in the Champions League. Arsenal drew 2-2 with Bayern Munich, and it finished 3-3 between Real Madrid and Manchester City. It's been a thrilling night of football up and down the land, and over on Talksport 2 very shortly it's the Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy taking all of your calls on tonight's action. You can also send them a WhatsApp voice note as well with your reaction to the very same number, 03717 223344. Stuart, we'll do it all again next week, I think.
I think the game's beautifully balanced. I think we've got an absolute classic on our hands next week, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and hopefully Kevin De Bruyne will be able to get on the pitch next week. Phil Foden, we hope to see him as well. He's moving a little bit better on the pitch in front of us now, which bodes well going forward, doesn't it?
Well, it certainly does, because this kid, in the form he's in this season, is an absolute match winner and trophy winner.
Absolutely. We'll be back together on Saturday lunchtime for Newcastle against Spurs.
I'll guarantee you goals in that one.
OK, we'll look forward to that. I'll guarantee you entertainment coming up next on Talksport 2, because we've got Following On with Neil Manthorpe and Steve Harmison next.
Talksport 2.